interesting Latinas that have been growing in their careers in the engineering space at different but very well-known companies such as Pinterest. Anyone here? Pinterest? Yeah? I look at it every day. Yes, I use it every day, I have to say that. Groupon? How many of you have used Groupon? Yes? Okay. Slack and Twilio. Well, to hear their stories, we have as moderator one of Netflix's newest and brightest engineering leaders, Cynthia Maxwell, studio engineer at Netflix. Can you please help me give her a big super applause para Cynthia, por favor?
You gotta give her the mic.
Hello. Okay, awesome.
Thank you so much for coming to this panel. It's really a privilege for me to be here with these rising stars in engineering. Never in my 20-year career did I think I would have an opportunity like this. It's really, really important and special. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right into the questions for the panel, if that's okay with everyone, because I want to make sure that we have time to really get deep into their journey here and also leave plenty of time for questions at the end, because for me, those are really the special moments when you come to events like this and you have a rare opportunity to talk to people in very important startups and really important places in their career. So to get started, maybe each of you could give me a quick little story about how you knew you wanted to be an engineer. What was your path that took you into choosing this above all the things that you could have done with your life? Because depending on where you grow up, being in engineering, or might have children that you might want to steer towards engineering, maybe each of you can give us a little bit of a glimpse on why you chose engineering above all other things.
Hello, everyone. Just to do a quick, I'm also the co-director of Tequeria, which is a 501c3 nonprofit. Thank you so much. 501c3 nonprofit that serves the largest community of Latinx and tech in the U.S. So how I got into engineering, it was pretty random, to be fair. So I was actually initially interested in biology for the longest time, and then before that I wanted to be a vet. So I think it was around middle school, I was like, I'm going to be a vet, I love animals, but then I realized I would have to like all kinds of animals to be a vet probably, and I really don't like cats. So that was like, oh, okay, never mind. And so like biology is kind of close to being a vet, and so I looked into that, and like the study of life, and that was really cool. And I stayed in that for a while until my senior year of high school. In my senior year of high school, I was, getting ready to apply to colleges, putting my major as biology, and then I realized I would have to be studying along medical students, like folks who are aspiring to go to medical school. And from what I experienced in high school already, it was going to be a bunch of studying, a bunch of like repetition, like learning all these things that I wasn't super interested in actually at the end of the day. And so I looked into the only other thing that I was semi-interested in at the time, thanks to my dad, because my dad had introduced me to computer games when I was younger. And it wasn't like the fun, typical like computer games. It was like these ones that taught you like math and science, like Clue Finder. I don't know if anyone ever played that when they were younger, but it's a lot of fun. And so I was kind of like hooked on computer games for a while, but I didn't really know anything about technology. Nobody in my immediate family was in technology. No, none of my relatives were in technology, which I think is a very similar story for most of us on this panel. But I looked into it, I took some online courses, and I really enjoyed it. So I was like, you know what, let me major in computer science. And I did. And I got rejected by basically every school I applied to because I think I tried to major in computer science. But I pushed through, and I graduated with a bachelor's in computer science from Hampton University, which is a historically black college/university in Hampton, Virginia. And then I went on to get my master's in computer science from Cornell Tech, which is like this, thing between Cornell and Technion. So, here I am, and that's it.
Well, first of all, my name is Belém, and I'm a software engineer
engineer at Google and tech lead of in my team. And for me, it just started like really early. My first choice when I started college was doing computer science. So I've worked as an engineer my whole life. My decision was because it was one of the only fields that I really liked. But when I started, I didn't know that this would become such a good career. I didn't know about that. Back then, technology didn't have the impact that it has right now. And even more, I'm from Spain. There, I didn't see technology as one of the priority careers to be. So, no one in my family, none of my friends, they didn't really understand what I was studying. So, my decision was mainly like vocational. Yeah, and since then I've been working on that. I did a master's, a PhD. So yeah, definitely for me it was a really great decision.
It's not gonna matter.
Hi everyone, my name is Marina and I'm a software engineer at Twilio. And well, I come from a non-traditional background. I actually became a software engineer at 32. So there was no single moment when I decided that I wanted to become a software engineer. I think it was a gradual process. I moved here to the US about 4 years ago. I'm originally from Brazil. And it was a really difficult time because despite the fact that I had 10 years of experience in sales and marketing, all of my experience in my diploma, no company knew about them here. So it was really hard to find a job at the same level. And that led me to a reflection process on what I really enjoyed about what I did. Since I had to restart my career anyways, I might as well start it the right way. And with that reflection, I noticed that this common thread throughout my career that I took on technical projects, even then where they were not part of my job description. So I started to consider the possibility of turning this passion into the next step in my career. And it was a really gradual process. I started by taking online classes. I interviewed people who went through some boot camps to understand how their transition was. I took a part-time class to make sure that I really liked that. And then from there, I did the Hack Ride, which is a boot camp. And after that, I joined Twilio as an apprentice, and now I'm a full-time engineer there, and I'm really happy. So that's my story.
Hi everyone, my name is Madeline and I'm a software engineer at Pinterest. I'm so happy to be here because I was actually at the first Latinas in Tech Summit 2 years ago, and I was like, I saw the engineers that were up here and I was like, will I ever be up there? And here I am. So it's really awesome. There are also a few Pinterest people in the audience, so thank you all for coming to support this. So I actually started my career much later than most people that actually get into engineering. So I started programming when I was 23. But I actually went to school for economics. So I got my bachelor's in economics, and I only majored in economics because I wanted to understand how the economy worked at a macro and a micro level. I don't think I ever had the intention to be an economist or work at a bank, but I actually tried it anyway. I went ahead and I interned at JP Morgan and hated it. And then I went ahead and interned at a nonprofit in New York, which was actually an amazing experience. I did transportation budget management for them. But my boss, she wouldn't let me explore my interests outside of my team because she was grooming me to be on her team once I graduated from school. So I decided not to go back there, and I actually had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I had this degree, I was getting this degree, and I didn't know what to do with it. And so I decided to do what most millennials do, which is go travel and find myself. So I went all the way to Italy, and then I took me to Turkey, and I would tell you it actually worked for me. For the first time, I met women who were studying software engineering in Turkey, out of all places. I wouldn't have imagined that. But I met women who were computer scientists and software engineers, and I didn't know what they did, but the fact that they were women and they were studying this, and it was something that was new to me, just sparked my interest. And I started to become curious about what they were doing. And then around the same time, I don't know if you all remember this, but around 2014, there were all these ads about learning to code and women in tech, and it was really new, and I didn't know where it was coming from, but that also sparked my interest. And so I just signed on to Code Academy out of curiosity, and took the HTML and CSS course. And I'm gonna date myself a little bit here, but who remembers MySpace? Okay, awesome. So I guess we're all around the same age, but when I took the HTML and CSS course, that's when I realized I made the connection between what I was doing every day after school to impress my friends, which was coding. I had no idea that was what I was doing, and that I could actually make a career out of this. And so I started teaching myself nights and weekends. And then when I got back to the US and I was working in public relations, I continued to pursue that. And the reason that I pursued that was because I realized that programming was a means to creation. So it was a way to bring my ideas to life. It's a way to solve really interesting problems in creative ways that are challenging and rewarding, because you get to see the results of the things that you do. And that was enough to drive me to continue to learn. And after a few months of self-teaching, I actually got a fellowship to study Android development in New York for 10 months after work and on the weekends, and I barely slept, but it was so worth it because it brought me to my dream company and my dream job. I really wanted to work at Pinterest, and then I'm here with you all today sharing my story.
Thank you for that. So I'm going to direct this next question to Belen and to Marina. So now that you've decided to be into the field of and be in tech, how do you persist in this industry? Because sometimes you're the only one, you're the only woman on a team, you're the only Latina on a team or in an organization. Sometimes things happen where you get subtle signals that maybe the whole infrastructure isn't for us. Do you have any tools in your toolbox or any sort of techniques that you use that allow you to persist in this industry?
So, yeah, of course, if you want to succeed, you need to persist. And I think there are two really important things for that. First, I think is your self-confidence, and then the second is your motivation. I know that having some self-confidence can be really difficult, even more when you are young, because you are starting, you don't have a lot of experience. But what I do to compensate that lack of self-confidence is to investigate and to study a lot. Say, for example, that you are in a new project, you are going to have your first meeting for that project. So I try to study a lot and learn as much as I can about that. So that's going to give me the confidence to go to that meeting and not to be afraid of asking questions or giving my opinion. And then related to motivation, I think you can try and trick your mind and trick your mind into thinking that you actually achieved what you want to get, right? Because that way you start visualizing yourself in that position, and that's going to give you the strength and the motivation, and your whole mind and body, they're going to work to actually get and achieve your goal. Those are my two tools, or the two things that I try to do to keep persisting on and succeed and achieve my goals.
Marina, do you have any tools in your toolbox? I don't think it's
Oh, it is. Okay, nice. Yeah. Persistence. I think part of being persistent is building your resilience, right? When you join this tech world, and especially coming from a non-traditional background, you're going to be faced with a lot of challenges, and you have to build that inner strength and find what is it that brings that strength to you. In my case, and I think maybe because I'm a Latina, I realize that I'm my best self when I'm surrounded by a supportive community. So I try to go to that all the way through this journey, starting from choosing the right boot camp. For me, Hack Ride is a women-only boot camp, and definitely a place where I felt safe to learn and ask questions and build this community that I take with me until now. And then at Twilio, I joined the Latinx ERG pretty early on as a board member and actively organizing events, building that sense of community that just gives me strength when things are really hard, when you want to take that bathroom break to cry. And even today, there's this voice in my head that tells me that, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not smart enough, that I started too late. And despite this voice, I go to work and I try hard, I study, I try to be my best self because I know that this voice is just an echo from the society that I grew up in that really doesn't reflect how I view Latina women and myself. So, find that strength, either it's a community, a hobby, or something else that helps you get through those hard times.
Thank you for that. Maybe this question is for Madeline and Francis. Have you ever had perhaps like a mentor in your career or someone that you could go to when times are tough, maybe someone who could help steer you in those moments, also maybe as a tool in the toolbox?
Yeah, so I think the hardest part for me about being in software engineering, I think, actually first is the mental hurdle. So I have a mentor, I'm really lucky. She was actually assigned to me through Pinterest because I joined through the apprenticeship program. And I was the guinea pig for the apprenticeship program. Like, they were trying this thing, they didn't know if it was gonna work, but they wanted to take this bet and see if they could recruit underrepresented, actually it was people from untraditional tech backgrounds to work at Pinterest. So when I joined, I was the only Latina engineer on the team of like hundreds. And I was the only, one of the very few that didn't have a computer science degree or an engineering degree from an Ivy League school. So here I started learning to code at 23. And then at 24, I was at Pinterest. Everyone else had at least 4 years of experience, either in undergrad and had 2 internships under their belt. And then I was Latina, and there was nobody else that looked like me. So I felt major imposter syndrome. Like, I just felt so out of place. I felt like I was never going to be able to catch up. And my teammates were awesome. Nobody was making me feel this way. It was all in my head. It was all me. And I have this amazing mentor. She's actually the lead of Android at Pinterest. She has over 15 years of experience. And she was the one that helped me calm down. She was just like, come on, take a step back and understand where you're coming from and where everyone else is coming from. You're trying to do something new that other people have never done. And so you can't compare yourself to everyone else around you because they don't have your same experience. And yes, they do have more experience than you, but with time, you will get that experience. But there's no way that from one day to the next, you're just going to be an amazing engineer. Like, you need to face the problems, you need to build the products, you need to go through the conversations to actually get better. And if you're comparing yourself to everyone else, you're always going to feel like you're lacking and like it's going to take forever to catch up. And I think she was right. When I stopped comparing myself to everyone, I felt a lot better and I was able to focus just on how I could get better each and every single day. And the other thing that really helped was that she confided in me and told me that she also felt imposter syndrome. She also felt like she wasn't good enough. Even with 15 years of experience and the whole company telling her she was amazing, she still felt like she wasn't good enough. Like, one day they were just going to figure out that she wasn't the best engineer for the job. And I've seen her over time actually get more confident and understand that it's not just that she's a great engineer, but that she brings all these other skills to the table that other engineers do not have. And that's why she's been chosen to be a leader. And for some reason, like just seeing her go through that process and knowing that she also feels that she's not good enough helped me feel more comfortable with my journey.
So for me, I think I'd like to start by posing a question to the audience. Who here actually feels like they have a dedicated mentor? Could you raise your hand? Okay, that's actually pretty few hands. So a twist on this question, I don't feel like I have a formal mentor, but I'd also like to define what a mentor is, because I feel like there are different definitions of a mentor versus a sponsor versus an ally versus just a friend, etc., etc. So a mentor to me is someone that you have like formalized one-on-ones with that are able to give you advice because they have similar experience to you, similar background to you. So for me, I don't really have that per se, but at the same time, I am constantly learning from people who are far above me, like in their careers. So like Cynthia is someone I look up to, but she's not a mentor, right? Lily Gangas, who is one of the folks who is helping create this conference, someone I look up to, but not a mentor. Michael Urbina, who is like someone who's part of my leadership coach sessions, is not a mentor, but he's someone I look up to because of the work that he does with D&I at Box. So in that sense, I feel like I have the mentality that whoever you come across in life, you can get something from them. Even if you find them like annoying and not really someone you can be friends with, they can still teach you something. I'm of that mentality that whoever you cross with, they can teach you something. So in that sense, everyone is a mentor and no one is a mentor in a way. But I feel like I've still been successful in my career path and my goals without having a dedicated, formalized mentor. So that's possible.
So Marina and Madeline, I don't know if you've already covered the points that you would like to make about this question, so please let me know if you have nothing more to say on this topic. But I'm interested if you have any advice for people who are interested in switching careers into engineering, because I think that there might be folks in the audience who might be in one discipline in tech, but maybe would like to try being an engineer. I certainly have run into folks like that in my career, but they're maybe a little bit afraid that they don't know even what's their first thing, day one, what do I do? How long is it going to take me to be able to be considered a software engineer? Like, how do I make that transition? Do you have any other advice for people who are interested in that?
So, first of all, I want to say, just get started. So, when I was curious about software engineering, I just signed on to a website and started trying it. I think that's the hardest part, just trying the thing. You always put it off, like I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next week. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to suck. You're going to be bad at first. That's just how life works. Whenever you're new at something, you suck at it. So like give yourself the time to actually get good at it. So if any of you are interested, like today, sign on to Code Academy after this event and try it. And then the other thing is, don't be so hard on yourself. Like really be patient with yourself. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a friend. Like when it's difficult and you feel like you're not good enough, just give yourself time. Go to sleep, go take a walk, and then go back to the problem that you're working on. Because you are good enough. It's just you need time to wrap your head around these new concepts and this new way of thinking. And then I would also say, find a community. Find other people that are learning to code at the same time and lean on them. You can support each other and help each other. And if you can code together, that's even better because you can unlock each other and teach each other things. And yeah, just be really kind to yourself and be patient and give time.
So I guess it depends. If someone is still trying to figure out if switching to, for example, a software engineering role is the right decision for them, I would say just, take your time and do your research. Most of us still have like 20, 30 years ahead of us in our careers, so make sure that you're choosing the right path for what you want to do over these years. And then, as I said, just do your research, take your time, because it's a big decision, you know, and it is hard, and it's going to be a hard, difficult psychological process that you're going to go through. And choose the right community to be around you as you go through this learning journey. Ask questions, try to set up time with people on LinkedIn to talk to them and figure out what the day-to-day of a software engineer is like. You know, is this what you really want to do? Take online classes, figure out if you actually like coding. And you know, people go to this path for different reasons, might be for financial reasons, and that's fine as well, as long as, you know, you can do that and actually figure out if you can code.
Yeah, I also wanted to say to start getting comfortable with self-teaching. Your whole career is going to be you teaching yourself things like every day, a new technology, a new way of coding, a new library or a new thing that came out. So just know that it's going to be really exciting. You're going to spend a lot of time learning new things, and you're going to have to teach them to yourself. So get comfortable with that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it doesn't matter your background, you always have a lot to bring to the table, you know, like in my experience, it has been a lot less just sitting in front of a computer than I expected. You write code for other people to read mostly, not just first for people to read and then for a computer to process. So, yeah, just make sure that this is the right path to go and take your time. It's a big decision.
Okay, last question. Francis, you've done a lot to open doors for people from our community, and many of the people involved here have done a lot to open doors for other Latinas that are interested in joining tech. Do you have any advice or tips for us that we can take home with us to remember to do in order to open doors for others in this area?
So in terms of opening doors, I think that joining Taqueria, that would be super awesome. We do have an active community of folks who are always trying to help each other out in different ways. Beyond that, like joining a community like other folks have mentioned, it's super important. Communities like Latinas in Tech, you're already super engaged that way. I think it's also a larger issue on policy though, to be honest, like opening doors to like a mass scale of more Latinas overall in the US. I think that one of the ways that we can make that easier for everyone in terms of accessibility is if we make classes in computer science mandatory in middle school and elementary school and high school. I think that part of the reason there are not many of us, because remember, of women in computing, only 1% identify as Latina. That is not acceptable in my eyes. We are a big portion of the population now in the US. I feel like we should have more representation in this sector, which is like extremely in the society, unfortunately or not. Most of the mega billionaires in our society have been produced by the tech industry. I think that we should be able to get a piece of that pie. So for me, like accessibility, yeah, for real, seriously. All of us, I think, get paid really well. If you become an engineer, you get paid really well. That's kind of the reality. It's pretty nice. It's not something I have to worry about. And I realize that I'm already making more than both my mom and dad make combined. And it's insane. But that's the reality of it. So, you know, to think about how far I've come, it's really nice. But, you know, to answer the earlier question, I think it is about policy and giving access to Latinas, just any kind of demographic much earlier on. If I had learned about computer science earlier on, I would probably be in an even like more, you know, ranked up place, right? So I think for everyone, that would be like the best thing. That's my take on it.
With 1 minute and 25 seconds left, does anyone else want to add a tiny bit to that before we have to unfortunately end our panel?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that everyone in here, you're probably already in tech. So if you are in tech or you're doing something really cool with your career in your life, you need to go back and talk to high school students and middle school students. And you need to show them what's possible. So yeah, I think representation is key. And they can't be what they can't see. So please, really put yourself out there and show them what's possible. Thank you.
require everyone to be a superstar at the whiteboard, or don't require people to have a certain pedigree from schools and things like that. So once you have a status in your organization, use that status to open doors for others. That's some advice I would give also to people. But I'd like to thank everyone so much for attending this panel. There was so much engaging discussion. Unfortunately, we won't have time for Q&A, but we will be available around afterwards if you'd like to grab us for questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah.